Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Richar and welcome to Richar with the Reactions. As always, glad to have you. I hope you all are doing well today. When a gang leader confronted Tyson. Why would anyone want to confront Mike Tyson? That is not a good idea. You know, it didn't even sound right saying that out loud. But hey, let's jump on in and see what happened. Maybe there's more to the story. But before we do that, if this is your first time here, you just haven't done it yet, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and notification bell. That way you can always see my reaction to videos like this or other videos you might like. Plus it helps the channel a lot. With that being said, let's dive on in.
This gonna be a fight. Tyson, and you know it. You hit me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
Welcome back to the Big Fight Recap here on BLTV Classic.
He pulled his glasses off. Did you see his eye? His eye was just hanging out his head.
Must not have went well for him.
We revisit the infamous two-fight saga between Mike Tyson and Mitch Blood Green. A genuine beef that 10 rounds of boxing couldn't squash, as the two would face off one more time on the street, this time in a much shorter affair with a decisive victory. Let's get right to it. After Tyson's 10-round decision to James Quick Tillis in 1986, the invincibility aura from Kid Dynamite took a slight knock as the two heavyweights battled out a much closer fight than the boxing fans and bookmakers expected.
How disappointed are you that the knockout string is over?
Not at all. If anything, I feel relieved, and I'm confident if I wanted to, I could have knocked them out.
It was Tyson's first time going the distance, as he had finished his previous 19 opponents all inside the opening 2 or 3 rounds. That gave some of the other heavyweight contenders an incentive to catch this teenage dynamo early, halt the hype train, and earn the highest possible payday outside of a championship fight.
Tyson say, "Gonna give me a fight. I want Mike Tyson."
Oh, I see. They thought they were going to catch him lacking. That's what it was.
Mitch Blood Green was one of the first fighters to utilize the new age of digital camcorders to get his message out there to boxing fans.
I was judging some feast your eyes on a real heavyweight.
There was no social media in those days, but local news stations and televised sports networks such as HBO would air the clips during a broadcast to gauge the fans' reaction.
I'm not sure I see the power, brother.
It's probably due to audio compression over time, but I can honestly say I have difficulty understanding what Mitch Green is saying. Two clear things were the muscle flexing and homophobic slurs, and bizarrely enough, as far as my research suggests, this was enough to land him a shot at the hottest prospect in world boxing.
Huh. Oh, he's from Detroit, huh?
On the tough streets of Detroit, Mitch Green was a prominent player in 1970s New York gang warfare. By the age of 17, he had witnessed his father lose his life in a bizarre Western-style quick-draw shootout, not long before being shot twice himself, fortunately escaping with non-fatal injuries. Green tried to escape gang life by joining the UBA boxing gym in New York, but by this time his ties to the street were too pronounced, as he was now hailed the king of New York street gangs by the NYPD for his role as gang leader in the deadly Bloods crew. Things slowly started to change for Mitch, as his reputation as a gang leader was exceeded by that of a talented amateur boxer, the muscular 6'5" big man that was racking up copious tournament success, including several New York Golden Gloves.
From the Bronx, New York, undefeated in 5 professional bouts with 1 draw.
Green took to the professional ring in 1980 and quickly started racking up wins over journeyman and fringe contenders such as Jungle Cummings. Champion in waiting Trevor Berbick became the first man to beat Green in 1985, where Mitch made a good account of himself, only losing by majority decision. Both Tyson and Green were on the fringe of a world title shot, so regardless of the antics, the two were on a likely collision course. The trash talk from Green just helped build more interest in the fight, which in turn certainly struck a chord with Tyson, who openly admitted to hating that ugly mother effer.
And Mike Tyson, traditionally, no robe, no socks. He says it makes him feel like a warrior, makes him feel like a gladiator.
Tyson met Green for the first time in May 1986 at Madison Square Garden. It was Tyson's first match at a prestigious boxing venue, and also the first to be covered by a large television network. Yet, the occasion didn't change the traditional no robe, no socks attire. He was all business and had a personal vendetta to settle with.
Started in Detroit, made it to Madison Garden. Came a long way.
Factor in the last fight that we showed you here on HBO that he didn't double up. So we'll see what he does about that against Mitch Green.
Always aggressive, right in front of his man. That was just a head movement. Took a shot. There's the left hook I was talking about.
He did draw a warning from Luis Rivera, the referee, about holding. Green's in trouble.
So you can clearly see the difference in technique here, just from these few seconds that they've been boxing. It's not going to go well for him. Let's continue.
Good left hand by Tyson.
Everyone has a plan until they get their mouthguard punched out of the ring in the first round. While Green had all the physical advantages, Tyson's supreme boxing skills and speed negated the gap in size and weight, backing up Green from the opening bell, slipping and countering, forcing the much bigger man into survival mode from the word go.
Big right hand against Tillis. And what a shot. That is an awesome shot.
Tyson punched out Green's mouthguard again in the third, whereafter he started mocking his opponent for having a wide gulping mouth, stalking him across the ring, landing fierce single power punches.
The fifth man throws his punch.
Another big left hook.
Oh
Tyson
boy.
there, good uppercut. He has to take a standing eventually. Another couple body shots. Well, he's smiling. Tyson is smiling. You see, Green has those fast hands.
The fight became so routine by the closing stages, the crowd knew they were witnessing a foregone conclusion. Tyson himself appeared to have his mind elsewhere as he bizarrely kissed his trainer, Kevin Rooney, while he was trying to deliver him intricate strategies and details regarding the fight.
Well, Kevin Rooney is
Tyson's thinking, I don't have to worry about him.
miles a minute. Mike Tyson leaned over and just kissed him.
Tyson closed the show, trying to score the knockout, but Green's disinclination to engage allowed him to grab and clinch his way to safety, resulting in him losing 9 out of 10 of the rounds on every general scorecard.
But we knew deep inside that I was going to win this fight so easy because of his style. He's a game tough opponent, and he took some fairly decent shots. But as you know, I won comfortably, and I didn't try for the knockout, and I used a great deal of discipline in there, not knocking him out.
Tyson claimed he carried Green the 10-round distance on purpose to punish him for as long as possible, and whether it was true or not, Green's personal pride was hurt, and he was willing to do whatever it took to restore a sliver of respect amongst his peers.
Why not just
Green
learn from
retired
it?
from boxing after the Tyson loss and returned to the street to earn a living from selling drugs. He always planned to one day get Tyson back in the ring, but as his years of inactivity ensued, Tyson progressed to one of the most dominant heavyweight champions of all time, undefeated and undisputed. The days of fighting lingering contenders such as Mitch Green were over. It wasn't until a couple of years after their fight that the two would meet again, this time in Green's element, the street. In the early hours of August 23, 1988, Mitch Green got wind that Tyson was shopping at a local clothing store close by to where he ran things on the street. Tyson had traveled a fair distance to pick up a luxury leather jacket handmade by one of his friends over at Dapper Dan's. As Tyson was chilling in the store with his entourage, Mitch Green burst through the door on his own, high on angel dust, demanding Tyson either give him a rematch or empty his pockets right there on the spot. Tyson, of course, no stranger to altercations on the street, dragged Mitch Green outside and pummeled him to the ground multiple times. Spectators said that the fight was short, violent, and very one-sided. In fact, it was no longer than 15 to 20 seconds, but that's more than long enough for the heavyweight champion to inflict severe damage.
What happened
There
to
is
his...
no footage of the fight, regardless of the clickbait you see on YouTube, but there were many accounts of what happened that all aligned, all except Green's account, where he claimed Tyson sucker punched him and ran.
Did he lose his eye?
Who threw the first punch here? He did. He sucker punched me because he's with his friends, you know. And when he hit me, and I said I couldn't get a chance when he get to him like I was because everybody was like pulling me, you know, holding me like so he could get away from me, and so he get away. And he ran from me.
Green was certain the Tyson scuffle, which became mainstream news around the world, would add enough public intrigue to get his rival back in the ring. But Mitch had already burnt his bridges among the promoters in the sport, with his violent threats to Don King in the past already shadow banning him from ever earning any serious money in the ring again. After Green's failed attempts to get the rematch with Tyson, he filed a civil lawsuit for $20 million due to the injuries he suffered during their fight. The former gang leader came away with one small W to coincide with a long list of L's, winning the case and being awarded $45,000, close to what his purse was during their professional fight in 1986.
Yeah, I remember seeing Mitch Green's eye after that. It was like he broke his socket, the eye socket.
Wow.
Yeah, he broke his eye socket. Yeah, eye socket. You gotta hit really hard to do something like that.
Right.
Green returned to the ring 7 years later, but at that point he was a shell of his former self and was beaten by journeymen with losing records until he hung him up for good in 2005. As
Well,
of
with one eye, I
2022,
imagine
Green
his
is
depth
still a large
perception
flat
is
character,
totally
but now
out of
he puts
whack.
his energy into his love of Christian He still has a gripe with Tyson, but I think it's fair to say the two have now moved on, and whenever the topic is brought up today, they both make light of their infamous 30-year feud.
That didn't work. The boy scared to death. After we had this street fight, the boy scared to death.
Oh, wait a minute. Didn't y'all have a street fight, Mitch?
For the ring, for the street. Thinking the man would do something about it. He wouldn't do nothing. Oh, man, he freaked me out.
Did you know that actually Tyson and Sal are good friends and he comes to the show? He knew, look there, yeah, it's Tyson. You see that?
Oh wait, so he still has his eye. So when I saw that picture of Green's eye after the street fight with Tyson, and the other guy had said his eye socket got messed up, I actually thought he lost his eye. But that's not quite true, is it? Because at the end, there was a much older version of Green, and he had both eyes, so I guess he was able to keep them both. So I think there are two major lessons that we can learn from this, right? Number one, don't bite off more than you can chew. So when Green wanted to originally challenge Tyson, I would hope that he went and watched some of Tyson's fights. And if he had done that, he would have saw the difference between them in terms of skill and said, well, you know what, I probably need to train a little more before I try and challenge him. Number two, pride comes before the fall. You know, if you lose a fight, that's absolutely fine. You know, take it on the chin, figure out why you lost, and then work to get better. But don't become prideful when you lose and start making excuses for why it happened, because then you're never going to get better that way, and it's not really going to help you long term. But it looks like they were able to put those things to the side and let bygones be bygones, so all's well that ends well, I guess. Let me know what you thought about this whole thing down in the comments below. And that's today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.